What we want to do now is go through what you got in your VEX kits that you've all received, and what all the parts are and how they work, and then you'll be able to use them to build a robot which you can use for the rest of the course. So it comes in a box like this, and we've actually unpacked the box, and this is all the stuff that comes inside of the box. And so we're going to look at each of the individual components so you can see what it is. So a VEX robot is a small robot designed for teaching, and it's kind of aimed at students from 6th grade through high school, and it's very, very flexible. You can build lots and lots of things with it. What we're going to build actually is a robot called a Clawbot that's going to look like this. Can you get a close up? Okay, so it's going to look like this, and so it's got 4 wheels on it and a claw, so you can pick up things and you can drive around. And we're going to be doing that using a combination of sensors and autonomous driving, and we're also going to use a joystick controller so you can drive it manually. So let's get started and look at what you get with this kit. All right, first thing is this box, which is the kind of the heaviest, largest piece of the whole kit. And this is actually the Clawbot kit itself. So it doesn't say anything on the box, but inside of here are all of the metal parts you need to build the Clawbot. So for instance, here's an assembled claw. And on the back of it is a motor, which drives the claw open and closed. So when you follow the directions, eventually you'll get to a step that tells you how to mount this on the robot. And here's a set of 4 wheels for the Clawbot. There's a bunch of gears. There's a bunch of metal pieces in here, like these, that you use to assemble it. And if you follow the directions, it will tell you exactly how to build it, step by step, like exactly what to do. There's also tools in here to be able to connect the Allen screws and nuts that are part of the Clawbot. So what you want to do is follow the directions exactly and to build your robot. Now the directions are this booklet here. They're also online. So if you look at the Canvas site, then we'll have a link to where you can find the directions online. So you can either use the paper copy of the directions, which comes with the kit, or you can use the online directions. The one thing that I just want to warn you about right now is that one of the things that we need for our course are these things, which are optical shaft encoders. And we've actually, we have these on the way to you right now. And we'll show you a little bit later. When you look online, there's some online instructions that tells how to use these things, how to install them on the Clawbot. But by default, the Clawbot doesn't come with these encoders. So these are not part of the Clawbot kit. So you don't see anything in these instructions about installing these parts, but we'll show you where the instructions are that lets you add these later when they come in. And you should be getting them in the mail pretty soon. So I'll just show you what they look like, just so you know which things they are. Let's see, we'll open this up. Okay, so there's 2 of them, are things called optical shaft encoders. And what these will do is mount on the wheels, on the wheel shaft, and then let you tell how fast your robot is going and how far it's traveled. And you'll need that for a lot of the exercises that we're going to do later. Okay, so that's those. So just remember that these instructions will not tell how to mount these. We'll tell you where the instructions are later. On Canvas, on the Canvas website, that tells you how to mount these things. And you can either do it when you build the robot, or you can do it after, depending on when you receive these in the mail. Okay, let's look at the other parts that are in here. This is it's called the VEX ARM Cortex microcontroller. So this is the brain of the robot. So when you write programs, the programs get loaded inside of here. And then this controls everything else. So all of the motors this has ports on it, these places on here where you can attach motors, and you'll see that in the instructions, but there are places where there are devices like motors that have, well, I'll show you in a little bit, that have pins on them, and the pins go inside of these slots, and in the instructions it will explain how to do that. So this is the microcontroller that will mount on the robot that tells the robot what to do from the program that you put in it. Okay, the Cortex-based microcontroller. This is when you're driving the robot around under user control. This is a set of joysticks. It's a game controller, and you can use the joysticks to drive the wheels and press buttons on here to drive mechanisms like the Clawbot arm and open and close the claw and things like that. So this is the VexNet joystick, okay, and that will be in this box. Now, the way that these things, these can talk to each other wirelessly. So the VexNet joystick can send commands to the brain or to the robot controller, and the way that it does it is either with an orange cable, this, that comes with the kit, and so one end of this cable can plug in here. This is a USB cable, okay, can plug into the joystick, and then the other end of the cable can plug into your robot, into the brain when this is mounted on the robot. So these two will connect to each other, and you can drive around with the cable, but it's really awkward driving with the cable because it's not very long. So the other thing that they have, instead of the cable, is these things called VexNet controllers, and these are wireless controllers. And so what you do is take the cover off of each of these, and you plug one end into here, and you plug the other end into here, and then they can talk wirelessly. So now you can be further apart without needing a cable, and you can drive the robot around using the joysticks. So these are the VexNet controllers, the white things, and they plug into the joysticks and they plug into the Cortex microcontroller. So that's those. To power all of this stuff, you need batteries. And inside of here, see, is it open? Yeah, inside here, this back comes off, and then there's a place where you can put a bunch of AAA batteries. Okay, and you have batteries with your kit. So the way that works is you have a set of 6 AAA batteries, okay, that look like this, and a battery charger. So you put the batteries into the battery charger with the positive end up. There's a little picture on here so you can see which way it's supposed to go. And then plug this in, and then this will, after a while, will charge the batteries. And you'll know it's charged when the lights turn off, and you'll see there's instructions on the back that tell you how it works. Okay, so this will let you charge the batteries. When they're all charged, then you can put them into here, and then put the cover back on. Okay, you put the cover back on. Now the batteries are inside of it, and then you'll be able to use this to drive the robot. And it has an on-off switch right here on the top of it. So this will turn it on and off. So just be sure you turn it off when you're not using it so the batteries don't run out. But you can always recharge them. Okay, so that's that. On the robot, you also need a battery, which drives the motors and drives the microcontroller. And that battery looks like this. Okay, and this is a 7.2 volt nickel metal hydride battery, and this mounts on the robot. So when you build the robot, this goes on it. And this end plugs into the robot controller. So there's a connector on this side, and then there's a place where you plug it in right here on the robot controller. And it only goes one way, and you can see it because one side has a round thing and the other side has a square thing. And so it only goes in one direction, like this. Okay, and then when you turn this on, it lights up to tell you that it's got power. And there'll be more instructions later about how to make it so this thing connects correctly, that the robot controller connects correctly to the joysticks. Okay, so that's the battery and the microcontroller. Let's see, what other cool things did you get? Oh, and that battery comes in this box. So this battery comes in this box, so you'll recognize it. Oh yeah, oh yes. And over here is the charger for this battery. So ideally, what you'll do come on out, is at night, after students are done using the robot, you'll plug the battery into the charger and then plug the charger into the wall, and then you'll always have fresh batteries the next day. So, you could charge these every day. Now there's a switch on this thing that says fast and slow, or fast and safe. Okay, that's a little weird, right? I mean, you could do it fast, but then it's not safe. You really should just charge it on safe, okay? Because then it charges it more slowly, it keeps the battery from heating up, and it makes it last longer. If you're really in a hurry and you're going to be watching it and keeping your eye on it, then you can charge it on fast, and then as soon as the light turns green on here that says the battery's charged, then disconnect it, okay? Because otherwise it's going to overheat, and then the battery life will be reduced. So ideally, just charge it overnight on safe, but if that's not working, then you can charge it on fast in a hurry, where it will charge in an hour or something instead of in 2 or 3 hours. Okay, let's see. What am I missing? What have we not done? I think we've done, oh, here's some more parts. This is heavy. Oh, these are a bunch of metal fasteners and stuff. So these are the metal parts that you use, all the screws and nuts and shafts and other parts that you use that will be described both in one of our videos and in the building instructions. These are the things you use to put the VEX robot together, that hold the metal parts together. And so there's a bunch of these, so that's in that kit. And then over here is a box of motors. And your kit comes with 3 motors. So here are the 3 motors. One of these motors will control the claw, and then the other 2 motors control the wheels, the left and right drive side of the robot base. Okay, so this would be like the left side to left wheels. This would be the right wheels, and this would be the arm for the Clawbot. So that makes the arm go up and down. And then on the arm itself, there's another motor that's kind of permanently mounted on the arm that actually operates the claw itself, that lets it open and close. So you can pick up stuff, like soda cans and things like that. So there's 4 motors that are part of this kit. Now, to make these motors work, you need these things, which are called speed controllers or motor controllers. And the thing about these is, what they do, and you can read about this in the instructions, but what happens is, it's 2 wires. One of them is white, orange, and black, and on the other side it's red and black. So the motors have red and black wires. So you plug the motor into the red and black side of the speed controllers. So these just plug in like this. And then the other side is where it plugs into the Cortex, okay, into the robot controller. And it will show you in the directions how to do this. There's some very, very clear instructions. In fact, let me see this. I think they're right on the back couple of pages, if I remember right. Yeah, so if you, can you zoom out on this? Like over here? So here's a picture that shows you how you plug the motors into the Cortex, into here. Okay, and over here it shows how to connect the speed controllers how to connect the speed controllers to the motors like this. Okay, so that's on the back of the instructions. So if you go through all of the instructions, it's pretty clear and will explain how all this stuff works. Are we missing anything that's important?
Did the two on the ends not need speed controllers?
Yeah, so there's two. So you plug motors in over here. It says motor on here, and you plug them into here. And all of the plugs, or all of the sockets, take something with 3 wires on it, like this. This has 3 wires on it, 3 pins, and they plug in here. Except for the 2 on the ends. And the 2 on the ends can take just the motor without a speed controller. Okay, that's like number 1 and number 10, and so they have a speed controller built in. One thing I'll mention though is from our experience, sometimes the speed controllers inside of this thing break, and then you'll end up using the middle ones anyway. So you could try it and use 1 and 10, but I think the directions actually tell you to use these speed controllers instead of relying on the speed controllers that are inside of here, because these aren't as reliable as these are. So this thing has 2 of these things inside of it that are connected to ports 1 and 10, the 2 outside ports where it says motors, and all the rest of them need these. Okay, so you should have enough stuff to build your Clawbot, and then in the next. So the idea for this week is that you'll learn about how all this stuff, how all these parts work. You'll build the Clawbot. You'll get it going. You'll be able to drive it around with the joysticks, and you'll be able to just load a program into it. And then that's sort of where it ends. And then the next programming session that we do, we'll start talking about programming. And you'll be able to learn how to write your own programs for the Clawbot to be able to get it to drive around and park the robot inside of a parking space and things like that. So that's kind of what you get. This is pretty exciting. This is like a really cool kit. And you guys are going to have a lot of fun building this robot and getting it to do what you want. So I guess that's it for now. And you know, if you have questions, then be sure to ask when we do one of our online sessions with you on a Saturday. So I guess that's it for now. I never introduced